man. You planned it, yeah. We're going to be out there having a good time.
The battle is the best.
You know, it's a big adventure. It's as close to going to the Wild Wild West as we can in this century.
I want the best person to win out there, and hopefully that's me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Championship Off-Road Racing. We'll be bringing you rounds 9 and 10 from Bark River, Michigan. It's the Boss Snowplow Challenge, and Pro 4 will be the class we'll feature here today. Ken Stout with you, Ricky Johnson standing alongside, and in Pro 4, the top 3 guys just 11 points away from each other as we tackle the back half of this season. Just 5 points between the top 2 guys, Johnny Greaves, who's leading, then Carl Renezetter. Johnny Greaves snake bit once again at Chula Vista, but Carl Renezetter steps up and gets a win in round number 8, but in the process created some controversy and eventually a rule change. Now if there's any contact on the last lap, they dock you 3 positions. Ricky, you as a racer, how do you feel about that rule?
I hate the rule, honestly. When it comes to driving, you a lot of times you set up the pass for the last lap. Now we're like the NBA. You draw a foul, slow down, let a guy bump you, get you a little sideways, he's docked. I think this is racing. The best race is the last lap. Let them duke it out.
Hardcore, baby.
That's it, man. It's hardcore, not softcore.
You got to go hard here, no question, if you want to win. And it's all about that last lap and, of course, that checkered flag. Now, what instigated this rule? Well, with more on that, the third member of our team, Kelly Stavist, has our 2 suspects.
Well, it all started with a controversial move Carl Renezetter made to get around Scott Douglas in the final lap of round 8 at Chula Vista. Renezetter went on to take the checkered flag, and the two shared some words at the finish line. Now, Renezetter has since been penalized 10 points for the incident. Douglas doesn't think the penalty is severe enough, but Renezetter says he's ready to take his licks and move on.
Scott left the door open, and I got under him inside. There was a little bit of contact because we both wanted the same line. Very, very minimal contact, and I think he overdrove the corner because all he had to do was turn right into the chicane, and he would have. There's no way I could have passed him.
He got underneath me, gave me a bump, got me a little wide, and then ran me up the hill and kind of turned me as we went up.
He stayed on the gas trying to block me. I hit the brakes and moved inside. I thought it was a very clean move.
I mean, there were 6 different drivers that reviewed the tape too. They all thought the same thing.
10 points, you know, that's pretty severe. Typically, if there ever was a penalty, it would be 2 to 3 points and 5 points if they're absolutely ready to kick you out, out of the whole program.
I wasn't upset about the call. You're upset when you lose. It doesn't matter if it's Carl or who it is, or if Carl wasn't even there and I blew a corner. Yeah. If I went from first to third, I'm upset, just period.
I hold nothing against Scott. He's out there trying to promote his sponsors, and he's a great driver. He's got a great program. It's not his fault that I got a 10-point penalty. It's the officiating.
I think CORR does a decent job on their calls and everything, but it's a fine line, and I hope eventually we'll find that fine line, because if we can't get the balance right, I think we just need to put it in the driver's hands. And if somebody roughs me up, takes me out, guess what? They got one coming, and don't worry, I'm all good about payback.
Last year we battled engines. This year we're battling officials, but we'll get through it. We always seem to.
Take your lumps and go home, and let's go race at Bark River, right?
Now, the two have since shared a handshake, but you can tell there's still some animosity there. We'll have to see how that plays out on the track. Guys?
Ken, we've gone over this a couple times. I disagree with CORR. I feel what Carl Renezetter was doing was just great racing. They also didn't look at Scott Douglas. Took a hard shot at Renezetter at the end, but did not penalize him.
Round 9 will carry more of that action when we come back to Bark River. CORR is brought to you by Kumho Tires. At Kumho, we're driven beyond the expected. Welcome back to Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing. We'll feature Pro 4 here, rounds 9 and 10, but first we want to talk about rounds 7 and 8, going back to Chula Vista. We saw a lot of action there. That was between Johnny Greaves and Rick Huseman, but it was Josh Baldwin that stepped up, drove a great race, and brought home his first win. Adrian Chinney here with a whole shot.
Guys back and forth. Chula Vista, very, very aggressive track, hard on tires. You can see Adrian Chinney right there, working the sidewall very, very hard. Josh Baldwin running very smooth, running very clean, brings home his first win of the year.
You can see right there, that was Johnny Greaves, who suffered a flat tire at the beginning of the race. Went and had it fixed, came back out, got into Rick Huseman, had another flat tire. While all that was going on, it was Josh Baldwin who came across the stripe, earned his first ever Pro 4 points win. Congratulations to him. We go now to round number 8. Again, the Toyota step up. Rick Huseman doing a good job. Johnny Greaves back in form.
Guys are back and forth, and Adrian Cheney going fast every race, making a lot of time, but it was Scott Douglas who got out in front, and everyone thought he was going to walk away with this win, but as you know, all the controversy.
As soon as Johnny Greaves caught him and was making a pass, something went wrong with the truck. He pulls over out of the way, and then the battle once again was on. Now Carl Renazetter fighting his way up past Adrian and eventually with Douglas.
Here's all the controversy. Right there, you see a little contact with Douglas. Carl gets to the inside. Here comes Douglas back with a hard contact. It's really hard to spin a Pro 4. And there you see the orange truck, Adrian Cheney, squirting into second place, and that's where all the controversy was. Scott Douglas went from first to third, and he did not like it.
Yeah, he pulled up next to Carl Renazetter. As you can see, these two were going at it, and actually Carl trying to make the peace because he got the win, but of course Douglas would have none of it. Here is a look at our Kumho Tires starting grid. This will be for round number 9 here at Park River, a land rush start.
As you can see, Kurt LeDuc with the pole. Here at Park River, very, very important. This start very short, then goes into a section of S turns. You want to make sure that you're on that pole position, so Kurt LeDuc sitting good.
And in the 7 and 8 hole, Carl and Johnny will have their work cut out for them as they try to fight their way up through the pack. Should be fun to watch. Now let's talk about this track. A lot of blind turns here, big speed, big horsepower track.
Definitely, Ken, and also they've brought in new clay, so a lot of different surfaces. As we go from the start, very, very short first turn. It goes down into a couple S turns back and forth, a lot of contact there. After that, some off-cambered turns, real high-speed straightaways, big sweepers, and also as we come to the AMP Power Hill, there's a section of S corners, so the drivers have to be on their mark. If they get off a little bit, high speed, big trouble. From there, we come back around to the finish. This is going to be one great race for Pro 4.
You can see the guys here that work at this track up here in Park River. They are all volunteers, and it's great to have them come out here and spend their weekends with us. There's a lot of fans out here, and we have a lot of racing to do. Come on back to Championship Off-Road Racing. Championship Off-Road Racing is brought to you by Nissan. Nissan, shift toughness. We're about to throw the green flag here for the Pro 4 division from the Boss Snowplow Challenge here in Park River. This is when the butterflies are flowing, and then of course these guys are ready to kill. Green flag, baby.
Green flag is out. Looks like Kurt LeDuc's got a great jump. Some of the guys make a little run on the outside. If you notice, opens up the inside for him. He's got a clean run, and Scott Douglas with the hole shot.
And it looked like Huseman really got into Renazetter. Renazetter got into Johnny, and those two went real wide, but Renazetter faring pretty well here so far. Oh!
A lot of contact back and forth. Now Carl Renazetter spun around. We were listening inside his truck. He got pushed to the inside. Now he gets back around. He's got his work cut out for him.
Yes, he does. He got together with Josh and that very tight left-hander. Walk me through it, Ricky.
If you take a flashback, you see Huseman getting into him, getting him loose, then Josh Baldwin hitting him, and then...
he hit the tire.
Is that exactly what happens in open wheel racing? Watch, he climbs over the top of him, boom, truck goes up in the air, spins him around. There's really nobody's fault. That's just racing.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with Josh Baldwin, so I need to retract that. We'll go to Scott Douglas, and Douglas's truck has been extremely fast in the last 5 rounds or so, and he's followed by Kurt LeDuc, who has also showed some big muscle as of late.
Kurt LeDuc with a new motor in there, Pro Power. He's been going faster and faster each week, but it's this guy, Johnny Greaves, who when he's on, nobody can touch it.
The last 4 rounds, Scott Douglas has finished in the top 5. Listen to that thing, baby.
It just whines, man. That Toyota has a lot of horsepower up high in the RPM, which is a little bit different than these other guys. You got to remember, some of these guys run a heavier package with a bigger cubic inch. Not Johnny Greaves. Lighter truck with less cubic inch.
Adrian Cheney, really the same combination, not anywhere near as small as engine. Johnny Greaves somewhere in the 345 cubic inch range. Adrian somewhere around 396, possibly 400, right around there. But going with that small cubic inch, lightweight truck, 4,000 pounds if you want to call that lightweight. But Johnny Greaves making it work for him here better than Adrian.
Johnny Greaves getting to the inside, working Adrian a little bit better. If you notice, Johnny's always trying to stay out of the roost. The last couple rounds here at Park River, whenever he was following, going. All that mud packed his radiator and shortened his race. He didn't want to blow up the motor, so he saved it and pulled over.
And of course, he's forced into that position courtesy of his points and where he has to start when they invert that top 8. So right off the bat, his day gets harder. Back to Scott Douglas. How about 2 5th-place finishes, 2 3rd-place finishes in the last 4 rounds? He has definitely found it.
He keeps going faster and faster each week. It's a new truck. Actually, Johnny Greaves did build that truck. So right now they've been doing all the suspension work, getting that thing dialed in, and he's been going faster and faster.
Johnny Greaves, of course, having a great year, looking to repeat, trying to get back-to-back championships here. And he's right behind Marty Coyne. Hats off to Marty Coyne and the Pro Comp truck. Guy has come out here his first full year with championship off-road racing, and he's definitely learned a lot.
Marty Coyne, you know, he started out as a businessman. He was my sponsor when I was 11 years old, believe it or not. He used to manage a place called Lucky Yamaha, picked me up as a young rider, and now he's done so well in the motorcycle business, he's able to come out here and race. He's done very, very well out in the desert, winning a lot of score races and a lot of the close course stuff, and now he's getting a great taste of championship off-road racing.
6 out of the 8 previous rounds, he has been in the top 5, including the last 4 rounds, 2 5th-place finishes, 2 4th-place finishes. So he, too, really getting a handle on it, but he's got the champ right behind him. One
of the things I don't want to shortcut him either is he did have a very successful Mickey Thompson career back when he was racing buggies back in the 90s.
Of course, now primarily known for his desert racing, the trophy trucks, and running the Baja stuff, but he's getting schooled right here. Getting a little lesson right here, baby.
Let me tell you, Johnny Greaves is showing why he's #1. So make sure that you guys come back. We have a ton of championship off-road racing coming back at you.
This championship off-road racing telecast is brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. We are smack dab in the middle of round number 9. Pro 4 action at Bark River. And Adrian Chinney gets into the side of Josh so hard he spins it out, and Carl collects him.
Adrian Chinney going for a pass on Josh Baldwin, climbs up over his tires, spins a 360, now he's not under power. Take another look, he shoots to the inside, gets sideways. Josh slows down to adjust for that corner. Chinney does a 360, Carl's in the dark, runs into Adrian. Hopefully that didn't flatten Carl's left front.
Now we go on board with Carl. Looks like the truck is back up to speed. He's had a couple of hard hits right in the beginning at turn 1. Then he hit the tire in turn 2, and now he's got hit by Adrian, so he's been like a pinball.
He's all over it, but you know what? Pro 4s can be deceiving. We're looking through the back of Rick Huseman and through the front of Carl Renazetter. These guys are going back and forth. Sometimes you can run a flat tire on a Pro 4 and people don't know the difference, but as soon as the tire comes apart, it's over.
Back up front, Scott Douglas making this work. He does have sleeper horsepower inside of that. You talked about Kurt Greaves, Johnny Greaves, those guys building the chassis for him. The truck's working great. Of course, he's a longtime veteran as well. I can remember him trying manual shifted trucks in this category. Now back to the automatic inside of the category, but he's been doing it for a long time.
Carl Renazetter working very hard, and that's the reason Scott Douglas is able to get out in front. These guys are going back and forth, trading. If you notice, Josh is pinching the entry a little bit, and Carl's trying to open up some lines back and forth, and that's giving Douglas a chance to run away.
And right here, the track gets really tight. You can see those guys, oh man, just about to hit. But both of them professionals. How about Carl Renazetter, man? He knew exactly where that front bumper was.
Those guys are running very, very close, and you watch them working the front wheel. We see Carl looking down to the inside, but Josh able to use the cushion and carry more momentum on the exit.
You can see how rough this track is. It's definitely a driver's course into a long left-hand sweeper that can get rutted up, although it looks pretty smooth here today.
Let me tell you, Ken, if you got paid for trying, Carl Renazetter's gone inside, outside. He's been banged, he's been spun around, he's been working his tail off this whole race, and that truck just stays underneath him.
I think you have to go hats off to Josh Baldwin. Josh Baldwin has not been intimidated by Carl leaning on him, has held his line and done a great job.
Well, these guys are brother-in-laws, so I don't imagine that they want to catch too much flack from the other guy come Christmas time.
He opened the door right there, but it's such a tight left-hander, you really need to carry some momentum, but here he comes. Carl Renazetter on the inside, he can make it work here.
Door-to-door, CORR is happy with that kind of banging. As long as you're not nose into the door, nose into the back of the guy spinning them out, they love the door-to-door racing.
And that's the beauty of this series. You can make some contact. As long as you don't take the guy completely out, you can make contact when these trucks are sliding. They are durable, they're tough, and that's all part of the fun.
What I like seeing right here, what Josh Baldwin did, is he went back to the outside to open up this corner to make it a bigger sweeper, and if you notice, he closed in about 2 truck lengths. At the same process, he's eating a bunch of dirt, but he did make up some ground.
Back to the front. You're looking at our leader. That is Scott Douglas now out of the back of Rick Huseman's truck, the FabTech sponsored machine and Monster Energy drink. That is the Toyota with the TRD power plant underneath. Now again, back to our leader.
Our leader making it by Rick Huseman, obviously having some troubles, but Scott Douglas is running a very clean race. If you notice, he's not over-rotating coming into the corners. When we listen to the throttle, he's not hard on the gas. He's saving the equipment because, believe it or not, even though these things are the most rough and tumble vehicles out there, you still have to take care of your equipment.
White flag will fly right here. 1 lap left to go, and you're exactly right, Ricky Johnson. Can't tell you how many times these guys have come back after this race. You see the right side, the right rear tires, completely blistered, completely tore up from that long left-hand sweeper.
And Ken, how many times have we seen guys make it to the finish line with water puking out of the radiators, transmissions up around 300 degrees, so you have to take care of your equipment.
I love watching the suspension work on these trucks as well. You can see when that thing goes over a jump and lands, there's no rebound. It just squats and keeps all 4 tires planted on the ground. He's done a great job for Kumho Tire as well.
What I like about this truck is that he's not running it so low that it beats the driver up. And here we see Carl Renezetter, who's been getting beat on all day long, continues to have some problems with the right rear flat.
Yeah, and he had a lot of contact right off the bat. And part of that contact did happen on the left-hand side of that truck. Looking at Kurt Leduc there, we'll go back to our leader. Kurt Leduc having a very solid run here today.
Kurt Leduc, we haven't shown him much on the TV today, but running very, very strong, very solid second place.
Yeah, Kurt Leduc having a great run. And by the way, we should also say that lap 7 ended this event. It was Scott Douglas who's laid down the quickest lap of the race. That also speaks kudos to that truck so late in the race to lay it down.
That definitely tells you that he's figuring this thing out. That AMSOIL Ford is going faster and faster each week, and here comes a checkered flag.
Scott Douglas doing a great job, and he'll get his first win in the category since rounds 2 and 3 in 2004 back at Antigo, Wisconsin. So congratulations to him. It's his 8th class win, his 9th career win here with Championship Off-Road Racing.
After all the controversy at Chula Vista in the last round, that says it all right there.
There you go. One race ago, he wanted to kill the world, and now, baby, it's all gone, man.
In most cases, it's checkers to wreckers, and this, it was wreckers to checkers.
So the big man is happy here in Park River, round number 9, as he brings home the big hardware for the mantle. Gets a hug from his wife.
Right.
We'll send it down to Kelly.
How you doing, Kelly?
Not as good as you.
Yeah.
But is the sweet taste of victory even better? Do you feel like it's been a little bit of vindication here, getting this win after everything that transpired in Chula Vista?
Oh, absolutely. Especially when they just kept telling me to slow up. I'm having too much fun. There's no way we're going to do that. And you got to stay on your game. And I tell you, this AMSOIL Ford F-150 worked awesome. It was just awesome.
Just talking to my buddies here.
Well, Kurt, it seems like it's been too long since I've seen you back here in the winner's circle. You're high-fiving Scott Douglas. You like seeing a couple of old veterans back here in the podium?
Yeah, we like beating up on them young guys. This old Skyjacker Ford is fast, and I got to really thank Casey Highlights. We blew the motor on our semi coming out here, and he loaned me one, and we wouldn't be here. And the podium, all 3 with the Leducs is awesome. All we can do is move up 1 spot tomorrow.
Johnny, it seems like once you work your way through the pack, it's almost like you're a shark that smells blood. It looks like you're just tearing it up, trying to get in there. Tell me about this race with Kurt and Scott up there in front of you. Was it just too much to make up?
Yeah, I had to be extra careful in the beginning because I drove into the wall off the start there, and then I seen Carl's picked up and turned sideways, and I'm like, I'm staying out of this. Right now, we're kind of a little bit in a safe mode.
Yeah.
As long as we stay ahead of Carl and keep inching away in points, then we can start putting the hammer down and racking up some wins again. But we need to secure this championship.
All right, great job.
Thanks.
So Johnny Greaves playing it smart. He's looking for another championship. Come on back. We're not finished. Round 10 is next. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bark River, Michigan for the Boss Snowplow Challenge here with Championship Off-Road Racing. We're standing out here on the track in what is quite possibly the most important turn of the course because it's the last turn before you go underneath the flagman for the checkered flag. It's also the tightest turn and the slowest turn on the course. Now, this particular track in round number 9 did not have a lot of grip. Not that it's a bad track, it's actually an awesome track. It's just the compound that's down here for this particular round 9 and 10. Now, it looks awesome because they've groomed it here as we're ready for the start of the race. But after about 3 laps, all of this beautiful dirt here that will give you a lot of bite will push off to the side. These trucks weigh in excess of 4,000 pounds. And when they come through this very tight turn right here, they'll hammer the brakes at the latest possible moment, obviously try to pick back up on the gas as early as possible. But when they carry that momentum with 4,000 pounds of truck, it washes the truck way out wide to the point that they will actually slide into the berm over here. They're on the gas, they're trying to get some grip, they're trying to get going. All 4 tires digging hard. There's just not a whole lot here, so a lot of tires spin. They'll wash out. Some guys will actually use the sidewall of the tire to try and get that truck pointed forward. It's a very, very tricky area. If you don't do it right, you can actually spin the truck out, but you can certainly lose a lot of time here if you're just rotating the tires and not getting some forward bite. Now, standing with a guy who did a great job in round number 9, let's go to Kelly Stavist.
Ken, of course, it was a great day for Scott Douglas. He picked up his first win in his brand new Pro 4, and it was the first ever Pro 4 win on a set of Kumho tires. Now, with everything Douglas has been through this season, trying to get this new truck all dialed in, and with the controversy in Chula Vista, he says that this victory was even sweeter.
There's some things we changed from Chula Vista, and as you can tell, if you look at the films from Chula Vista to the race that we won, you'll see I'm driving it a lot smoother. I'm driving it with more confidence. And so we got the steering working better, the brakes working better. The whole package is starting to come together along with me. I mean, I'm a big part of this thing, and the thing is, the truck works so much different, so it takes a little bit of time for me to get used to it as well. But the crew's just done a phenomenal job. I mean, they're always working on it. We've even made some changes from yesterday, believe it or not, small ones, not the big changes anymore. But here at Bark River, the starts are critical, though. You know, we had a great start, and that helped out, but we backed it up with our lap times, and we're hoping to back it up with another great, successful day.
You know, Scott told me a while back that once he gets this Pro 4 set up just the way he wants it, that he would be a force to reckon with. And now with 2 top 3 finishes in a row, he's proving it. For more on this Pro 4 field, we turn it over to Rick Johnson.
Thank you, Kelly. On the other end of the spectrum, I have Carl Renezetter, who's been Pro 4 champion, Pro 2 champion. Carl, you had some problems in Chula Vista, some rule changes. You come here, first lap, you try to be a little cautious. What went down in the first turn?
Well, basically, I got knocked around pretty good, you know, after getting a 10-point penalty for basically no contact at all, and I thought I would clean pass. And I come into the first turn, and I just get knocked around, get pirouetted, put up in the air. I mean, I was along for the ride the whole way. You know, I was by far the last truck starting the race. So here at Bark River, that's just a kiss of death. You start in the back, you're going to be exposed to all kinds of carnage, which I was. I mean, I don't know if there was a truck that didn't hit me out there. But, you know, that's racing. It's another day. We'll keep our chin up, and, you know, we're going to go out there and we're going to kick some butt.
It's a whole new day of racing. Carl Renezetter's been number 1 in Pro 4. Let's see what today has in store for us.
Now as we take a look at our Kumho tires starting grid again in the 7 and 8 spot, Carl Renezetter, Johnny Greaves, those guys are going to be very careful again. Back to the poles going to be Marty Coyne. He'll have a great shot at turn number 1 along with Kurt Leduc and Adrian Chinney's truck that has so much horsepower. But I think the story we have to continue to focus on is going to be Scott Douglas. He had a great starting position, 1 round to go, now finds himself in the middle of the hornet's nest.
The good news for Scott Douglas, he's got that truck ironed out, and he won yesterday with a very dominant performance. The bad news is, just like you said, Ken, he's in the middle of the hornet's nest. Kelly Stavist had a chance to meet up with Scott Douglas and find out a little bit more about this driver.
Racing is my life. Racing is my dream that I'm able to live. It's my passion, and I'm going to do this as long as I can.
Scott Douglas's off-road career started with a race truck from a used car lot. He and his brother Steve entered it in the Baja 500, finishing 5th and beating factory-sponsored teams.
Success just started coming then. It was really neat. It took us all this time to get this program together. We went out and won the Baja 1000, and the Baja 1000 is just huge in desert racing. That really boosted up my career. The next year we went off and won a championship in that class.
And when he started short course racing, it didn't take long before Scott was a dominating force. This year, he hasn't gotten off to his best start in his brand new Pro 4, but he remains determined.
Maybe I'm trying too hard, maybe I'm not trying enough, maybe who knows what it is, but I want to put it together for those people there that have helped me when I started.
It's because of those people who have been there for Scott, and because he has a love for the sport, Douglas is willing to help any of his competitors, no matter what their history may be.
We're all competitors, but we all help each other. I mean, some of them you've known for years, and some of them you've had big disagreements with, but you'll go give them a $400 heat exchanger. So here, get your truck going. I want to race against you. I want that thing 100%, so when I kick your butt, you don't have any excuses. You know, people have helped me a lot, and so me helping them out, I just feel that's what I need to do.
When we come back, we're going to put him to work as we go racing with round 10 of Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing Series. Championship Off-Road Racing is brought to you by Nissan. Nissan, shift toughness. The Pro 4 division is lined up and ready to go here for round number 10. But before we start these guys, we're going to fill you in a little more info courtesy of our Toyo Tires Inside Tracks. We're able to focus on the front-wheel drive portion of these trucks. You're looking at the front differential inside of a Pro 4 truck campaigned by Josh Baldwin. It's a brand new one inside of it for round number 10. What happened to the one from round number 9? Well, it got sheared off. If you take a look inside of this old one, you'll find that the ring gear has been totally destroyed. Now, what causes it? That's what you want to find out. Unfortunately, in this case, well, it had nothing to do with the part itself. The part just fine. But the driver made a slight error here, and Josh Baldwin picked up the gas just a taste too early. This is what happens. When they fly these trucks and they're up in the air, the back ends will land. They pick up the gas too early, the front end is rotating, the front tires are rotating. When they land on the ground, it's going to break something more times than not. Now, keep in mind, a driver's in the middle of a race. He's being very, very aggressive. And the second he feels his truck settle down on the ground, he wants to pick the gas back up. Well, either it's going to A, stay together, B, it's going to break a front axle, or C, it's going to destroy one of these front differentials. Oh, by the way, about $5,000 if you wanted to purchase one and put it on your coffee table.
Ken, why would I put one of those on my coffee table?
Because they just look cool, dude. And let's face it, I mean, you've already got the tires holding the coffee table up, so why not?
Well, these guys are getting ready to go. Look at Johnny Greaves in the yellow truck on the right side. Yesterday, he said he was being patient. He did not want to get into trouble in that first turn. Notice how he hangs back and cuts to the inside.
And he missed a big wreck right there between Scott Douglas, who won this event, 1 round to go. Again, CORR with bad luck here in the first turn, but Johnny Greaves dodged it all.
Ken, let me tell you, I'd rather be lucky than good, and I called it right there on the start. Scott Douglas had a great starting spot yesterday, and as you said, in the middle of the hornet's nest, and he was right in the mix of all the trouble.
Tough break for both those guys. Rick Huseman with the FabTech Monster Energy drink sponsored Toyota. Looks like he's off to a decent start here. Kurt Leduc again showing great success.
3 fast guys up front. Adrian Chinney, Marty Coyne back in the mix, and a second place finisher yesterday, Kurt Leduc.
By the way, Kurt Leduc's last win coming in 2004 right here at this track in round number 10. So maybe the magic will return. Boy, he dodged a bullet right there.
Yeah, he straddled the tire that's down low, and the tires here at Bark River have bitten a lot of drivers. They'll bury a tire about halfway as markers, but sometimes they're so high they'll flip a truck. So he definitely dodged a bullet by straddling that tire.
And you can see how wet this track is the first couple of laps. A lot of mud on the front of these trucks, and Adrian trying to get his truck to turn.
Well, you got to remember, these guys do not get a parade lap. They go out and prep the truck as good as they can, but it is off-road, so you expect some changes back and forth. But as you can see, it's loose in some areas, hard, slick in others, and muddy in others. So these drivers are all over the place trying to find traction.
Josh Baldwin, Rick Huseman. Once again, nose and tail. You know, it was back in round number 6 those two guys got together, but the positions were flip-flopped.
If you look at Rick Huseman's right front in this flashback, you can see the drive shaft right there. He's all over the track. Now you see the left rear tire going down. A lot of conflict in that race. Eventually, Rick lost that rear tire. That was a couple rounds ago, but right now, Rick Huseman in the middle of the mix.
Yeah, and he is door handle to door handle with Johnny Greaves. The 2 Toyotas going at it. Johnny Greaves trying to work his way up from the back of the pack, and he goes under 2 trucks right there, and now is looking at Marty Coyne.
Johnny Greaves with an awesome pass on Rick Huseman and Josh Baldwin. Now he's going to try to make short work of Marty Coyne.
Again, look at that truck, man, just hammered in mud.
Johnny Greaves with a very, very good move in the first turn. Comes into the inside, lets off a little bit. Now he's all over the top of the back of Marty Coyne, but no blood, no foul.
Well, and you know, that's Johnny Greaves carrying so much speed through that turn. He probably wasn't expecting Marty Coyne to check up quite that much.
Well, I've driven these things, Ken, and so have you as well. And you know, as you're bouncing back and forth, you're trying to make up a little ground. When a guy checks up, you try to go in a little bit deeper, and he was on top of him. You're not really trying to plow into the guy. You're just trying to be aggressive and force the issue.
He's backed off here a little bit now. We'll take another look at him to see if he can get around, possibly find a little better line. Again, hats off to Marty Coyne. He's done a great job his first year in the Pro 4 division at Championship Off-Road Racing. And that's exactly what I was talking about, washing out, using the sidewall off of that berm in turn number 1. I'm sorry, turn 2.
This is right now we see Josh Baldwin getting back on the inside. These two drivers don't want to bank too close when it comes to those tires because they could get flat. But right now, Josh Baldwin using Marty Coyne as a pick and could get around both of them.
How about that? Josh Baldwin making a nice move. They go 3 wide.
3 wide, Josh Baldwin on the inside. Johnny Greaves with the run on the outside. If he can stay out of harm's way, he'll have more momentum through the corner. Both of these guys sliding the truck beautifully through that big sweeper.
You just have to love the aggressiveness of all these drivers in this class.
There's nobody holds back. It's 100%. That's the one thing about this. This isn't the Baja 1000 where you're driving 70%. It's Bark River, 100%. It's checkers or wreckers.
Now, Renazetter taking a look at Marty Coyne. We'll go back up to the front and look at the distance already that Greaves has put on everybody. Oh, man, up on 2 wheels there for just a moment.
Johnny Greaves, I think he's comfortable with so much experience on motorcycles. He just seems to be comfortable. And I'm really impressed with Josh Baldwin. He got past, and now he's worked his way back up right behind Johnny Greaves.
Sound there, courtesy of BFG, of course, Dennis Weaver and the gang. Super to be around all the time. Also, looks like Rick Huseman having a real nice run here.
Very, very hard for these drivers to see right now. The track is loose on top and hard underneath. So you got to use the cushion to get as much drive out of the corner as possible, but you can't open up that inside. Here we see Carl Renazetter always looking to the inside. It's the dry slick part of the track. It opens the door, but Rick Huseman able to pull away.
Yeah, Rick Huseman using that berm as well there in turn number 2. It worked out nicely for him. Able to carry a little bit of momentum. And now Carl Renazetter trying to close that gap. He has a lot of real estate there to cover yet. We're in the middle of round 10. Pro 4 Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing. This CORR telecast is being brought to you by Skyjacker, the bear of suspensions. Round 10 action coming your way. You're looking at Adrian Chinney.
Adrian Chinney running very, very strong, going faster and faster each week, and we are going to see this guy win sooner or later, Ken.
I had a chance to speak with him after round number 9. He said that he actually backed the engine down a little bit. He had a hard time getting it restarted in round number 9 after he and Josh Baldwin got together and stalled the truck. So they're going to back it down just a little bit, try to keep the engine alive, and just work on truck setups. They're still tinkering with the shocks on this truck.
The shocks, but it's the throttle pedal of Adrian Chinney that I'm so impressed with. This guy runs a truck harder than anybody. The only one I've ever seen come close is Jerry Welcher on Pro 2. He